The volcanoes of Egypt's desert, what we found on Google Earth. This is the video right after the previous one, asteroid impacts that changed the Middle East into desert, the end of the old kingdom of Egypt and the Camille crater. Well, we saw the Camille crater, and as we were looking at that area, we found something that looked like cinder cones with fresh lava, just like this thing here. They were devoid of any sand blown on them. They were perfectly pristine clean. It looks as if they erupted just yesterday. That's how clean they were. So let's go and take a look at them for ourselves. Everything in the desert is covered by sand, and we don't have a very good look at what's underneath. This is the whole of the, as we can see, we're on Google Earth, and this is the stretch of desert that we have in North Africa and into Saudi Arabia. This is Iraq, and this is Iran, that's Jordan, and that's southern Israel. As we can see, most of this is, of course, all desert. There's no rivers except for the Nile. And this was struck by quite a few, I would say at least 20 asteroid meteorite impacts around the same time, about 5,000 years ago. I guess it was before and during, perhaps, the exodus of the tribes of Israel from Egypt. Remember in the Old Testament, in Genesis and Exodus, they were talking about the great famine that took place in Israel, and the children of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob that is, and his sons had to go and get grain from Egypt around this area, which was very lush and fruitful. And at that time, Joseph was already there. He was the right hand of the Pharaoh, second in the land of Egypt, and he interpreted the Pharaoh's dream of the 7 fat cows and the 7 lean cows being the 7 good years of crop and the 7 years of famine. And that's why they had filled their grain silos and prepared for those 7 years of drought and famine and disaster. So they had a tremendous devastation and catastrophe because of the asteroid strikes. And we know from previous asteroid strikes that the pounding and the temperature is so severe that they cause cataclysmic earth changes. They cause tremendous earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, and anything you can think of. Hail, sulfur, carbon dioxide, all these terrible gas emissions, dead birds, frogs falling from the sky. You know, all the basic signs that they had during the Exodus of the plagues, the reptiles going into the cities, they come out from the ground when they feel an earthquake coming, or when the shaking of the earth is about to take place or has taken place. We had the Philippine earthquake today and yesterday, and one of my viewers sent me a comment saying that he's from the Philippines, and that's where they saw snakes coming out of the ground a couple of days before the earthquake. And the snakes were, of course, going towards houses and trying to climb up the walls. And we see that regularly, that the animals feel something, either the vibrations or the sounds, but they try to escape the area. So this is exactly what was going on. So there must have been a lot of devastation taking place at that time. We're talking about a long time before, about 500 years before the Exodus. 500 years before the Exodus from Egypt was the tribes of Israel going into the land of Egypt. That was about 500 years before. So the Exodus took place around 1500 BC. So 500 years before was just about the time of this thing taking place, the asteroid impact and the geologic changes. So this is where we have, let's zoom in, that's just a brief introduction. And as you can see, all of this, let's remember the We all saw the pictures of the Sphinx in Cairo, the Giza Plateau right around there. And we saw that the archaeologists have decided that the erosion on the rock formation, the sculptured stone of the Sphinx of Egypt was eroded by water, a lot of water, which meant that and they claimed that was about 10 to 12,000 years ago, around the time that Graham Hancock, you'll see in one of my previous videos today, another huge earth impact confirmed by Göbekli Tepe that took place around 12,000 years ago, which it's not just one impact, it could be a series of incoming and continual impacts from a body that brings various projectiles with it. And they are continually bombarding the earth everywhere, the Sphinx had the erosion, which meant that there was a lot of water. This climate was a perfect, beautiful, lush type of an Amazon type of climate, like we have in Brazil. And a lot of water, a lot of rain, a lot of vegetation. And something happened, and there was a tremendous amount of sand. We know that comes out of volcanoes as well. We saw it recently in the growing of Mount St. Helens. That slab of stuff that came out then crumbled into sand. So that comes out of the earth as well. And when Napoleon went to Egypt during one of his campaigns, he had his people drawing what he saw, and they drew the Sphinx with the sand up to its neck. It was like that until they excavated the Sphinx, and we have it totally exposed now. But the sand was covering it to its neck. And so you can understand how much sand there was in this place. And we have it all over the place, all of Africa here, extending through the Sinai into southern Israel, all the way through Jordan and no, that's Syria, Jordan and Saudi Arabia, and this is Iraq, and that's Iran. Okay? So in my previous video, we had an asteroid impact in Iraq. This is the one they found here through looking at Google Earth. And there's a lot of things you can find looking at Google Earth. So we looked at this today together in the previous video, and we saw, where is it? Just disappeared. Hold on. Did I move it? Oh, there it is. Okay. And we saw these things. And other things as well. But look at this. We saw these things from the air, and we said, oh, how beautiful and clean and black they are. What are they? And look at this thing. You've seen enough of my videos to know what that is. That looks like an outcrop of a cinder cone or a volcano of some type. Very nice. And let's go here to the other ones on the line, in the line of it. There's another one there, very round. And that one there, very, very nice and round, and so black. There you go. They don't have that much sand on them. What is that? Okay. They don't have that much sand on them. But there's other ones that are even cleaner. That one there, of course. That one's very, very fresh and new. I mean, if that erupted yesterday, nobody would really know, because there's nobody living out here. That looks so fresh, it could have been yesterday. Look at that. That has nothing on it. Not only does it have nothing on it, it cropped out of the sand. Well, it has a little bit of stuff on it, okay. Maybe it's 100 years old, not yesterday. But, and that one too. But even if a volcanic eruption did take place here, nobody would really know. There's nobody out here to witness that. I marked that with you. That's what we marked together when we saw when we were doing the other one, the past video. That's a nice clean one too. And look, you have the crater right in the top of it that has some sand in it. There you go. I don't know if that's also water, but look at that. Let's go to the street view. Yeah, it looks like as if it's got water in it from rainfall. Can we get street view? Okay, let's go ahead and get the street view. Okay, it doesn't want to go. Okay, maybe there is no street view. Oh, okay, let's keep going. Yeah, that's water in there. And, okay, there you go. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's pull out now. Okay, I'm getting you too confused now with this. Get it out. Okay. Okay, that's the cinder cone, as we saw. A nice one with some water and some ice from the desert storms. So that's southwest Egypt. Wait, let's fix our north. That's Libya. Okay. So you have Egypt as well. And let's go to our the Egyptian mountains and Libya as well. You can see them. Where were they? Okay, sorry. Here they are, various. Oh, I don't want you to see the deadly volcanoes thing there. Okay, right there. And we even had the Santorini. That's Santorini. That's a volcano with the crater in the middle. It's gone. It has the hot spot right there. And that is, I don't know what's happening to that, but you know, we're in a subduction zone as well. Let's go here. And they say that blew during the Exodus. Santorini is around here somewhere. Let's go in there. Santorini is, anyway, we have to get closer. There it is. Okay, there it is right there. Okay, that's it right there. That's Santorini right there. Thera. Okay. So they say that blew around the time of the Exodus from Egypt, and that it caused a tsunami. Perhaps, I don't know how that far away could have caused a tsunami here. But anyway, we're always learning things about geology and geography and ancient history. These are the Egyptian volcanoes that we're talking about. Where are they? Okay. There they are. That's another volcanic field. In Egypt, the black volcanoes of Egypt. In the Old Testament, in the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 5 to 6, the monuments quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence. Yea, the world and all that dwelt therein. Who can stand before his indignation, and who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. Now, these are pictures of the black deserts, the volcano shapes in the area covered with the black stones. And some believe that the hills are not hills but volcanoes, and the black stones strewn everywhere were shot out of the volcanoes. And the whole of Egypt in this area, the black desert of Egypt, of course, are volcanic cinder cones. A lot of people that go there believe that they may be pyramids and not volcanoes, but what can you say? Now, from what we saw from Google Earth, a lot of these things seem to be cinder cones. There are Egyptian tour groups that organize day trips or trips to these areas. They're called, for example, one of them is the Bahariya Oasis, 2 days and 1 night. You can have day tours or you can have an overnight stay. And they say they recommend this. It's the western desert of the Sahara. And there's expeditions there in the heart of the area. And they're opting 2 days, 1 night. So you can enjoy it. You can have the night stay in the desert. And from what I heard, it's beautiful because they have a very lush dinner under the tents of the canopies of the people that, all right, it's an experience, eating there and sleeping there, because it comes close to experiencing perhaps what the 12 tribes of Israel experienced when they were crossing the Sinai Peninsula, when they were there 40 years doing that. And definitely an experience like this would change you internally, spiritually. So that's what we had a tangent we took off from the previous video that we did, the asteroid impacts and the desert of Egypt. I admit I don't know too much about it. I've never been there. I don't think I will be. But at least we have Google Earth to look at. So I hope you enjoyed this. I did. Now, basically the conclusion of this is that the asteroid impacts, the meteorite impacts, whatever impacted, all this throughout the age of the old kingdom of Egypt and before the Exodus, that is the famine that brought the 12 tribes into Egypt, and also the Exodus with Moses, had, when you have an earthquake or an asteroid strike, it goes on for quite a number of years, the geologic activity. But perhaps it was something that came around again after 500 years. And this is now Mount St. Helens. You saw the slab coming out, then it collapsed. It just rumbled. It was all this rubble was like dust. And perhaps this was coming out of all this volcanic field area of Libya, Egypt, and wherever else of the Sahara. And the impacts of all these over 20, I have to get that map, we'll do another video on that. As I was looking for these geologic formations, I saw that there were asteroid strikes all along what is today the Sahara Desert and all this desert throughout the Middle East, which was obviously a very lush area, just like what we see on the other side of the Atlantic in South America, which is all green and lush. That's how it was. And it has changed because of this impact and the geologic volcanic activity that came along with it. It must have been devastating. It was totally different night and day from the geology, the biology, the plant life that it had. Can you imagine? Along with the water, bodies of water and rivers that must have been covered up with all this sand, which again comes out of volcanoes. Mud, for example, we have volcanoes with mud flows. We have something like happened in the 1984 Prieta earthquake in California. That was liquefaction. The sand was coming out from the ground days before the earthquake hit, like mud ponds, mud pot pools that we see in Salton Butte, Salton Sea area, and also various geysers in Yellowstone. It's not just the water geysers and hot springs, but there's also mud pools, mud pots, which come out with something like clay or sand. So you can imagine how much sand came out from these bodies of volcano openings because perhaps of the asteroid strike that somehow shuffled the Earth's tectonic plates and the Earth's surface, creating this type of a thing. Right? These all look like cinder cones. They're not just hills out of nowhere. And these are where people are being taken to spend the night, 1 night and 2 days in the desert, a beautiful experience, I would imagine. But these are all volcanic cinder cones. So I'll leave links below for you for this. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.